When it comes to trailer tires and trailer wheels, there are some do's and some don'ts. Going to give you a few of my opinions and recommendations today. I'm sure that you're going to have some of your own opinions and recommendations, so be sure to leave those in the comments. So what prompted this video was we had a couple of comments asking some questions and some concerns when it comes to trailer tires, valve stems, a few other things. Then I had a unit coming today that I'm going to show you a tire that we had a failure on. And then we also have another unit that was just recently serviced at a large tire facility. They went and had new tires put on their trailer wheels. They took the trailer there, so they knew that it was a trailer, and they made a mistake. So I just want to go over a few things when it comes to mixing and matching tires and wheels, what to look for so that you don't make that mistake. And also, hey, it gets lots of comments. People are passionate about their trailer tires when it comes to the keyboard. Maybe if you get as passionate about them when it comes to making the purchase, we may solve some problems down there. So let's work together. Let's don't get offended. I will tell you, I have no China-made wheels. We have USA representing today, and then we have India and India. Oh, this is Korea, I'm sorry. So we have 3 different representations, no China wheels, so don't get offended by that. I'll probably throw in a China tire though, just to make sure we get everybody covered. So let's jump right into it. So this is one of the tires here that prompted today's video. When this tire started its morning, I would say that it likely was a Maypop. It's about a 5-year-old tire, 10 ply. It got within about a mile of here and it went from Maypop to a Grenade. So you can tell that it did give up the ghost. So it warranted some new tires, a tire replacement. I don't think we can patch it. Maybe put a tube in it for some of y'all out there. Maybe if you think you can fix it, just leave a comment on that. But it's had a hard life. It moves bovine around, and it's probably been overloaded at time or 3, and probably doesn't always get its air pressure checked. The other ones that were on there about 25 to 30 psi underinflated. So if you were going rock crawling, probably would have worked. Hauling a whole load of bovine didn't work today, so it gave it up. The other unit we had, I'm not going to show it on camera. It's the one I discussed earlier. It's a new set of tires on a pretty new trailer. Upgraded the tires because they just had a ton of miles on them. We went to put the TPMS sensors back on for the customer, and the first thing I noticed when I do that, they put the wrong valve stems in them. This is a reputable tire store, but everybody, and it's not to knock them, I'm not going to call them out. Everybody makes mistakes. They may have a new guy that day, but these are an automotive valve stem that are underrated from a PSI standpoint for the tire and wheel setup. And they actually, you could just spin them in the wheel with it being pressured. So that scared me a little bit. So we're going to break those down and install the correct valve stems in those. And then we will put the TPMS sensors on for the customer and he'll be ready to go. Sometimes what you run into. So on this one here, we actually went from a 10 ply up to a 14 ply. And that's what we're going to discuss. Can you just go up to a heavier ply tire with the current wheel setup that you got? The short answer is yes, but not always. We're going to cover a couple different scenarios that could get you in a bind and could cause you a failure down the road. A lot of times a reputable tire store will catch it and they will not install this for you even if you ask, but I know some will just mount whatever you've got just to make a buck. Some are getting better about, if it's an old tire that's kind of aged out, they're getting, where they won't mount those just from a safety standpoint, from a liability standpoint, and I get it. So we're going to look at a few wheels up here. 2 of them look almost identical. One of them is the same size, just a different lug pattern. So let's move up here and we'll take a look at those. We have 3 16-inch wheels here. This would also relate to 15s, 14s, 13s, 17 5s, whatever you may have. And I will tell you, this is going to vary by manufacturer, year, model of the wheel, and a few things like that. So just because it's on this wheel doesn't mean it's going to be the same on your wheel. So you need to do your homework. You need to look on the wheel for a stamp when we get to that, and look on your tire to get your weight ratings. So a common thing that we get asked all the time, so this is a 16-inch 6-lug. We normally see this on a 5,200 pound or a 6K axle, very common, usually running a 10 ply tire. Many times it's gonna be a 235/80 16. We have an 8-lug here that is rated for, let's see if I can find the weight rating on it. It is rated for 3,850 pounds, and this tire is made in India. So it's an 8-lug 16. And then we'll move over to this one. Even though they, other than the paint, they look the same, but they're not exactly the same. This one here is made in Korea. It is a 8-lug 16-inch, and it is rated for 4,080 pounds, so a little more weight on that one. You'll also notice the valve stems are different. You take a look at that valve stem. Take a look at this valve stem. This one does not have a valve stem in the 6-lug, but here's where the issue comes. We'll have people that, you know, they want to put a heavier tire on their 6-lug, and they'll want to put a 14 ply on there. And can you do that? Well, they will fit, they'll mount up, but just because of weight rating, you can't. Most 14 plies are a 110 PSI. This wheel here is only rated for 90 PSI. So if your tire store mounts it for you, and a lot of them won't, if they put it on there, technically you have to deflate that tire to 90 PSI instead of 110. So you're losing weight rating on the tire, so you're really defeating the purpose. You know, you may find you a 12 ply that has a 90 PSI rating. You may want to check on that, or just buy you a good quality 10 ply tire. If you're worried about blowing tires out, either you may have a cheap tire on there or you may be overloading your unit. So if it comes to where it's a weight issue, you may need more than just an upgraded tire. You may need to upgrade the axle, but as you've seen in some of our other videos, your trailer may not be rated to withstand that new axle. The frame on it may not accommodate heavier axle, and you may have some other issues there. So on this 16-inch 8-lug, it is rated for, what did we say, 3,850 pounds. It is a 110 PSI wheel. So can you put a 14 ply on here? Yes, you will meet the PSI rating. It will fit on there. So why would you have two different ones here? Well, this one is rated for a heavier weight. This is a thicker wheel. This is a heavy duty wheel. It's got bigger valve stem than this one. It could be argued, is this valve stem here rated for 110? You would need to check that out. I have this one mocked up here just to show you what we run into on a regular basis. I prefer our 110 PSI wheels to only utilize this valve stem here, which here's one similar to this. Sometimes you will see a cheap wheel, or you'll see the wrong setup where somebody's put the wrong valve stem in, and they'll actually have a PSI rated lower. A lot of these, I will see that these are rated for a 90 PSI, just like the 6-lug, so you can only go to a 12 ply tire. So if you want to do that 14 ply, you're going to have to likely bump up to a heavier wheel unless you've already got that. Now we're going to look at a 14 ply that I have here mounted. I just want to give a quick shout out and say thank you to all that have subscribed, that have liked our content, those that have come in that I've got to meet face to face. Some of you already knew. I've got to meet some new people from all over the country and actually all over the globe. So it's been super exciting. If you are not clicked to subscribe, be sure to do that so you get our updated videos. I think we're now over 40,000 subscribers. I never thought it would grow that big, and we're still small, but that's okay. But one thing we do get, we're starting to get a ton of comments and great questions. Now, not all the comments are great. That's okay. We can overlook some of those, and if they're really bad, we just kick them to the curb. It's okay. But something we have just started, we've just released it, is our Patreon. So if you'd like to continue to support the channel, if you enjoy our content, and continue to want to see more, go check that out. We will leave a link in the description, and we're going to be able to answer some more questions. It's just getting to the point to where we can't answer every question. Some of those are detailed. You know, we do the best we can. I still have a full-time job. We just kind of do this as a help to you, as a help to me, so that we both learn. So be sure to check that out, see if you may be interested in it, and if it benefits you, and we would greatly appreciate it. So this is a 14 ply. It's a heavy duty trailer tire, and it is on a heavy 16-inch wheel. If you remember, the one I have up here is also considered an HD wheel, the one that's made in Korea. This is a different brand. That one was rated for 4,080 pounds, 110 PSI. So can you put this tire on there? From a PSI standpoint, absolutely. From a size standpoint, absolutely. Here comes the problem. When you look at the weight rating on this, so max single weight rating, I don't know if that's going to show up in the camera or not, is 4,400 pounds. So this tire can carry 4,400 pounds. So if you were to put this tire on that heavy duty wheel that's only rated for 4,080 pounds, is that going to be a problem? Yeah, you can only haul 4,080 pounds on there. You can't haul the 4,400 pounds. So what do you think this wheel is rated for? Well, this wheel here is rated for 4,460 pounds. So it's 60 pounds over the tire. Is that confusing? I would argue that's more aggravating than confusing. Imagine trying to stock tires and wheels to fit every need out there. And when there's lack of education and communication on it, it can be a daunting task. So it's your responsibility as the owner of your unit, when you go buy tires, or if you buy a used trailer, or if you purchase a new trailer, to make sure that it's got the right wheels and tires that are matched up. You may can find a 14 ply that only has a 4,080 pound rating. You can put that dude on there and you're going to be good to go. Now I know some of you are going to argue, well, that's close enough, it's no big deal. And likely, arguably you may be right. You're likely not going to get a ticket for it. Nobody is going to bother you. The only time it will bother you is like everything else in our country. If you have an accident, something happens and you get in a lawsuit and you don't have the right setup on your unit, that's where they're going to get you. So if you're willing to gamble it, I'm not a gambler, but if you're willing to gamble it, that's your choice. I'm just giving you my experience, what I see on a daily basis. It can be aggravating to make sure you match your wheels and tires up. I get it, but just because you want to upgrade to a heavier tire, you just can't slap it on your existing wheel without before checking. And that brings up another point. We've had multiple people ask this question. I can't find any stamp or any type of ID marker on my wheel that tells what the PSI is, what the weight rating is. And we see that some of the cheaper import wheels, they have nothing on there. Your guess is as good as mine, and I don't have an answer for that either. I will tell you, occasionally we will see them on a sticker that's inside the wheel. So if you're already mounted, you would have to break that down and check it out. But a lot of your more reputable trailer wheel manufacturers will have it stamped. They will come with a sticker. The sticker's going to fade off, but they're going to have it stamped somewhere around the lug nuts or inside the rim. And that's where this one is. This has a little bit of information on the front. Most of the info on this one is on the back. So you may have to clean that wheel up. You may have to crawl underneath it. You may even have to take it off just to make sure. But if you go in to buy that new tire or new wheel, just make sure that they match and make sure you get the right valve stem. I believe somebody commented on one of the videos here lately that I think was even in the tire business, talking about how automotive tire shops will many times put an automotive grade valve stem in that's not rated for high enough PSI. And it happened to me this week for a customer. So we're going to swap that out and we're going to put the actual true valve stem that goes in there so they don't have a blowout. I mean, that would be a pain in the rear if this, just because it's got a PSI valve stem, or a valve stem with PSI is 55 PSI and you're running a 90 PSI tire, that dude's probably going to give it up at some point. So you have to, like everything else, you have to do your due diligence. Don't believe it just because it's on the YouTube. Don't believe it just because it's on the interwebs, on the Googler, but just take a little bit from everything. Do your homework. Don't get aggravated about it. Try to stay calm and just make sure all your stuff matches. Just don't go out there and mount a 14 ply tire on your 16-inch 6-lug wheel, because you may crack the wheel out, and that's where we usually see it. I don't have one here for an example, but I'll show you. I'll move the camera over. Where this is welded here, this is where they usually fail. They will crack here, and that crack will penetrate just due to where it's welded. You can't really see the heat signature in there. You can feel it. It will crack there, and it will cause it to, number one, start losing air pressure, but it will eventually crack the whole center out, and you will have a complete center to rim separation on there, and catastrophic failure will come with that. So if you are not familiar with your tires and wheels, it may be a good time when you're doing your walk around, you're doing your PM, to check out and see what you have. I'm going to apologize for all the sweating, but it is hotter than a firecracker today. If you live somewhere cool, if you're under 90 degrees today with low humidity, tell me where that's at. I may have to go there because that's not here. It's a rough one today. So if you're in the South and some of the places that are burning it up, I feel for you because it's a little toasty. Another don't I see many times is you will take a 14 ply tire and wheel setup and put that on your heavy duty 8K axle that's got 5/8 studs. They will fit in the hole, but that don't mean it's designed to do that. When it comes to your heavier duty stuff, most of that's going to be a 17.5 tire and wheel setup that's going to be 16 ply, 18 ply, and even greater. those are what goes on 5/8. Just because this dude will fit on 5/8, it's cheaper to do that setup, but it's the wrong setup. These are made for 9/16 and 1/2 inch in some cases, which are a lot different. A lot different stud, carries a lot of different weight. So just don't upgrade your 8K and greater axles with the wrong setup. Make sure that you put the right stuff on there so that you don't have a wheel failure. So make sure you do your homework. If you can't find anything on what you've got, you know, try to go into a reputable trailer shop or a part supply, see if they can give you some help. But there are times that there is no info on the wheel, and it is what it is. There's nothing you can do about that. I hate to tell you to go out and buy a new wheel because they just don't give those things away. But you know, for security, you may have to do that, but that's a decision you're going to have to make. So again, keep the comments coming. Try to stay positive. No fighting on the YouTube channel. Let's get along. Let's try to help one another educate, better ourselves, and to make sure that our stuff is in tip-top shape when we're headed down the road. And so with that being said, I will see you down the road.